annual citywide book fair hosted by Gary Henderson on September 20th from 12:30 p.m. to 5 p.m. at the Gary Area Career Center. This is year 5, and inspiration comes alive as we explore 5 dimensions of creativity. The process of bringing books to life. We're bringing back the Kitty Corner, plus our full-size print magazine, your ultimate guide to promoting your books and connecting with businesses. Whether you're ready to highlight your work, grow your fan base, network with the community, or just dive into the world of books, this is the place to be. Let's create amazing opportunities and unforgettable connections together. Don't miss out. Grab your tickets on Eventbrite or visit us at citywidebookfair.com. Bring your whole family to this free community event on September 20th from 12:30 p.m. to 5 p.m. We'll see you there.
Welcome back to the new #1 morning show in Northwest Indiana. News, sports, education, and entertainment. Wake Up GI with Jeffrey Smith. Brought to you by the Gary Community Schools Corporation.
All right, we are back. As promised, Mr. Reed Henderson is in studio. You heard, I told you we've been, those commercials we've been running for the past week or so. It is still a ways out, September 20th. But it is going to be an afternoon event, 12:30, I believe, to 5.
Yes.
Yeah, they are absolutely going to be committed to it over at the Industrial Center inside the Gary Area Career Center. For those of you who don't know where that is, it's 1800 East 35th Avenue, beautiful Gary, Indiana. Now, with that said, let's go ahead and talk to our lovely guest who is in studio right now. She, of course, was not too long when she was on here. She wears a lot of hats, and so, you know, it's kind of like what she does in her side job where she's an actress and a writer. And so, as I said, when she last was here, her role was as a, what were you here at?
What? Probably the author, because I was
You were an
doing,
author.
I believe a book signing at Jay's Breakfast Club.
That's what was going on.
That's
So
what
you
was
were
going
an
on.
author, and then, of course, we run into each other all the time, and you're brought out as the actress, and now you're here as the entrepreneur. And then all the time when we're here, before you leave, I also ask you to talk about your day job, which is where you've been very successful as a licensed cosmetologist who's pretty darn good at her job. But you got so many other stuff going on. But we're just welcoming you here today on this wonderful Tuesday. First of all, how you doing?
I am awesome. Get up, get lit. Okay, it's your girl, Doreen Henderson, in the building. Woo! What up, what up, what up? Hey, come on, y'all. Wake up now. It's 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
Wake up. Jeffrey and I already got you lit, okay?
Yeah.
I love when I'm able to pop in and hear you.
Yeah.
Y'all, Jeffrey be on something, y'all. He be on one early in the morning.
Absolutely. Imagine waking up today. But anyway, so as I said, though, a lot of stuff. I want to get to the book fair in a minute, but tell us a little bit about some of the other stuff you've been doing since we last spoke.
Oh, well, let's see here. Preparing for another play, October 18th with Shabria Shine, Dr. Love.
Dr. Love.
Okay, preparing for that. I worked with the PHA.
Now, hold up on Dr. Love, because I had Shabria in here last week, or the week before last. And, you know, she was talking about that. And, you know, I know it. I've had all of you on here. But she was talking about, you know, you're the star of the show.
No, she
No,
wasn't.
she kind of said that. I mean, you know, I know she's Dr. Love or whatever, but she was also kind of giving you some serious props as being a major part. Because we got into talking about, you know, as a writer, she wants to pull back and things like that. And then she kind of gave the example of you as somebody who has been kind of carrying, you know, kind of, she's writing and you've been kind of going out here doing your thing, helping propel the play. So, I mean, she's in it, of course, but but you're
she's a writer,
part.
producer, she's acting in it, lead. We can only wear so many hats.
Right.
And when we see someone in that position, if you're able to help, jump on in.
God bless.
Use your gifts and talents for that. So, yeah, she has been able to pull on me. I believe in Dr. Love, I'm playing 3 characters.
Yeah, that's what it was. That's what it was.
I'm playing 3 characters in Dr. Love. So, you know, and I like that because I get to kind of experiment with different characters, different scenes, to see me in a different way. I had that experience with her when I worked in her smaller place
Right.
when she did Ladies Lounge and the Little Black Dress. And
Oh.
so those were two totally different characters that I, would have ever played. And in the Little Black Dress, people didn't even know that was me.
Really?
So that's how out there that character
You were
was.
in costume and everything?
Oh yeah. I had to really change it up.
Yeah.
And that's a play I really believe needs to be in the community more. But but God is good.
Yeah.
So we're moving and shaking. Look, Gary's a gold mine.
Yeah.
We out here getting lit, okay,
Absolutely.
everybody, and we are encouraging you to use your gifts and talents out here. Come on, this is the time, right?
I like it. And so of course, we have the citywide book fair coming up. It is going to be September 20th, as the aforementioned Gary Area Career Center, the Industrial Room. And time flies because you have been doing this. This will be your 5th year.
Yes, I'm excited. Year 5. Let's go. Thrive in year 5. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. and I think you and I have probably talked about this. I know you and myself and your husband have. And you appreciate this about what my wife does as well. And I want people to understand because, as I said, here we are, year 5, and this is something that when you have people like yourself that are out here doing these things, it speaks a lot to the commitment. Because these are not just like ideas, get rich quick schemes. These are things that you believe in. You put a lot of time into it.
Yeah.
You call on a lot of people to either be part of it. If you can, if you can't, then just kind of move out of the way and let us move. And as I said, you just look up one day and you've been doing this 5 years. And so I want to thank you personally because as somebody in the peanut gallery, I've watched this grow. I remember when Brian first came in, he was like, hey, me and my wife, we got this going on. I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. And I remember it was Dean Barber White. I know everything that you were doing. And here you are again, sponsors, vendors, the whole nine. So tell me the idea, with everything else you have going on, why a book fair?
Man, look, ask G-O-D, okay? Ask God that. Why a book fair? Why not? It brings community together. I think it ties into this culture of getting us back to flipping the pages, bringing us back to imagination, right? When you're actually reading those words, you have to use your imagination to bring that to life. And that's needed. And I believe that's going to always be needed. Even though we have AI, we have all this technology, the use of imagination can take you so many places. It helps us to dream again. I, for myself, can speak for myself when we're like watching reels and watching TV and watching, we're entertaining ourselves. Our brain cells are going haywire, but we're sitting, we're sedentary, we're allowing that to take over, opposed to our imagination and our dreams and our visions getting us up to move.
Now let me tell you something, because you hit me where I live, and I listen. Sometimes
this always happen with us.
Sometimes I don't even know where to start, because sometimes you have these kind of kindred things, and there's certain kind of things that you kind of think only you or maybe just a few others kind of look at it in that vein. And I come from a household. My mother absolutely loved literature. She read novels, gave me my first novel that I read, which actually was a biography of Lee Iacocca. I was 7 years old. So that's a whole nother conversation. But what I mean is the way you just described it, and the most important part of your description was whether you want to be a writer or whatever you want to be, the idea of reading recreationally specifically is your imagination. It allows you to see outside yourself. It allows you to be able to receive information, to me, in a very wholesome and pure way. And unfortunately, everybody does not do that, can't do that. And the way technology in the world is going is corralling people to get away from that. That's why I did my whole little thing this morning when I was telling people that you were coming, about why it's really a little bit bigger than just the book fair. It's something that we as human beings, we in our communities have to be deliberate about. Not just for the kids, but for us in general. We have to go out here and allow our imaginations to function, because there's so many things on here that want us to be on autopilot.
Yeah.
You know, AI, don't type the report, I'll do it.
Yeah.
You know, don't fill out the resume, I'll do it. Don't read, I'll tell you what the book's about. Go to Wikipedia.
Yeah.
You know, let's binge through stuff, get the cliff notes. You know, kids right now, they did a study, and that the average person, not just young people, but the average person's viewing habits are about 20 minutes. They don't sit and watch things in their entirety anymore.
No.
Yeah. And,
No.
And so that's why what you're doing is, I believe, awesome. And when you kind of articulated that, it just hit me where I live.
Yeah. And I'm so excited about it being year 5. I mean, the first year was, I felt like the first year was, okay, the Lord told me to do it, I did it, and I just thought I was going to get away from it. I'm like, okay, I was obedient, I did what you did, and now I'm in year 5, and there's so many ideas in my head as I'm going toward, like, I'm already thinking about year 6 and 7.
Yeah.
Like, I'm already contemplating how this thing can grow in our community.
Well, tell me, let's go through that, because what was year 1? No, because you know me, I like to know how the sausage is made.
Yeah, you know.
What was year 1? So when you did get the idea, you know, you might have been inspired, obviously, externally, and as you said, you kind of felt that this was kind of your calling. You needed to, you kind of had a little task, and you wanted to step
I had a
up
task.
to it. What was the goal? What did
But
you
the
want
thing
to
about it
accomplish?
was, like I said, I'm one of those who books really wasn't in the household, right? It wasn't. The books was, you know what you were studying, what you were trying to accomplish, right? Recreational, recreational tool, absolutely not. So I grew up in that era.
Yeah.
When I had my daughter, I kind of pushed her to read more. I'm like, no, you're going to read more, because I didn't, right? I never thought about being an author. There was nothing that was boring to me. I didn't want to do that. And so the first year of the citywide book fair, when I tell people this was really from God, I was doing something else. I was doing me. I was, you know what I'm saying? I was being hired as a social media MC to hype a event up.
Yeah.
And it was a vendor event. It was a pop-up shop. I did that for a season where I would go and I would MC pop-up shops and go live and get people to come on down and things of that nature. That's what I was there for.
Yeah.
And when I saw this author sandwiched in between 2 vendors, where those vendors was getting so much traction, and this vendor was just sitting there, this author with this book on the table and just looking so lonely. I mean, I just out loud said they don't belong here. They seem misplaced or misplaced, you know. And then when I said that, the Lord's like, yeah, and I'm like, okay. And I just kept moving, and he brought it back to my memory, and I was like, well, it just seemed like they need something for themselves. And like I said, I always say this, it's not like it's not author vendor shows out there. I know they are all over the world. Here, I just didn't see them.
Right.
And so, and when I said that, he was like, yeah, and I'm like, well, somebody needs to go ahead and help them out, right? You know what I'm saying? And the Lord was like, you. And I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
What do you mean me? I'm not an author. I'm not interested in being an author. I'm okay. You know what I'm saying? And so when he gave me that task, I had to truly ask him what to do. I had no idea what to do.
Right.
In that, even my first event I did, I had no idea how to do a fashion show. God gave me everything to do, told me who to talk to, and it was so successful. And in this event, I just said, okay, Lord, I'm going to do what you tell me to do. And he told me, he says it's going to be for authors. Only authors can be, and I want them to be able to come, get in the community, make sales, market. You're going to have to provide food. Hey, go out there and ask, because, people will buy food and everything else before they'll buy a book.
Oh, absolutely.
So he told me, make sure I had snacks and things, available, free to the public. Let it be free to the public. Let the authors do whatever they want to do. If they want to make it a book signing, however and whatever. And when I did that, it was so successful. It was a smaller scale, a smaller venue, but it was so successful.
Right.
And he told me to make sure that I had people speaking to the lives of the authors in the community.
Wow.
So Shabria Shine was my first special guest, and she spoke 2 ladies. One who published, I think Shabria Shine, she actually went outside to publish, and then the other author self-published.
Right.
So we had those 2 come in and speak on their experiences. And I'm telling you, ever since that first one, more and more authors have emerged. More and more authors. My friend that I didn't even know had wrote a book.
Right.
She had wrote a book, and she came to me and she was like, I wrote a book and I didn't know what was the next steps to go. Next year she published her book and she was at the book fair as a vendor.
Let me tell you, this is what I'm talking about, because I love how you just described it, because what you did, first of all, the cool part of just kind of noticing that lowly author who's sitting in between these other things, and she's out there, a vendor and things like that, probably a great person, but the problem is she was selling a book, and that was not the atmosphere. To kind of get that vibe and say, you know what, there might be something that we have to do for them. And here's why I think that you create a great foundation, because the first one, you came into it without any pretension or any expectations. And so what you just described, you said, look, I'm going to create a forum, and I'm going to get authors in here, and I'm going to let authors kind of do their thing. They're going to obviously self-promote. They're going to talk about their things. And then as far as, you know, having some speakers, I got 2 people that kind of publish books in different ways. And it gave this little atmosphere that became inviting. And so what you also did, whether you probably know I know you know you did
No,
this,
I don't.
But what you also did was inspire folks.
Yes.
Because as you just pointed out, when you were growing up, but it was something obviously that you wanted to pass on to your daughter, but what you did was you let people know that there is no type, there's no barrier to going out here being an author. There really isn't. You don't have to be the English major in college. You don't have to be. If you've got something to talk about, if you've got a dream, if you've got an idea, if you have a story in your head that might be fiction, you can tell it. It might resonate with somebody. The thing that you have to do is, you know, obviously learn how to articulate it, put it out there, but your story deserves to be heard as anybody else. I think that's what you did the first one, and I think people who attended and people who heard from people that attended, I think that's what resonated, because there is an author community out here, but the community is usually in their homes by themselves. They're not talking to each other. They're not meeting with each other. There's no place where they can congregate, where they can talk outside of maybe academia or that kind of world if you live it, but the regular person who's got a story. And I think that's what you've done, and I think that's where the momentum is coming from.
Yeah, and that's so great that you said that with concept, because this year is all about the 5 dimensions of creativity.
Yeah.
That's our theme. And the first thing is concept.
Yeah.
It's your concept, it's the vision, it's the dream, it's the story inside of you.
Yes.
So we're going to be dissecting those divisions.
So you got workshops.
Yeah. Well, I would love to have workshops, but we're going to have 5 different speakers speak on those aspects, right? And so the first thing is that concept, that dream, that vision, that story that you do not know. I mean, it's in you, but you don't know how to get it out, right? And then the next dimension is writing, because a lot of times you have it stuck in your head and you do not start putting pen to paper.
That's the hard part.
And so we're going into this. I wanted to talk about this, but he stepped on it, so we're going to go ahead and talk about it.
That's what I do.
And that's the theme. So we're talking about concept. We're talking about writing. A lot of times we're stuck at the writing phase, because what we tend to do, and I learned this when I was writing my books, what we tend to do is write and edit at the same time.
Yes.
That's 2 different dimensions.
Yeah.
Write. That's all you have to do is put pen to paper or voice text or whatever it is. Get it out of you. Then the next step is editing.
Yeah.
That's when you're going to go in and you're going to start putting the puzzle together. You're going to start checking for your grammar errors and going in and putting chapters into place and things of that nature. That's your editing phase. And then you go into your publishing phase. Are you going to self-publish? Are you going to hire a publisher? What do you believe you need to do for you in this book? And we dissect both aspects of publishing. And then the last thing is marketing. We don't want to publish a book and just look at it every day, just sit it on the shelf, right? We want to know how to how to market. And so we will have a social media marketing expert come and speak as well. So when I tell you, God has just did some amazing things with this book fair, and I believe this is so important for the entire family.
Yes.
The entire family, because last year we had an author. She was 7 years old, and she was our special guest, and she spoke, and her mom is her publisher. And so she inspired all of the kids that were there. I have a picture where the kids were so intentional just looking at her as she spoke.
Right.
And she had her little cards, and you know, she was trying to pronunciate her words, and it was just amazing. But she's 7 years old with 2 books.
Yeah.
And so when I say this is for the entire family, this is for the entire family, the entire community, bringing us together.
Let me ask you, we're talking to Mr. Reed Henderson, of course. I don't even know how to just pigeonhole you. She is the executive director and the founder of the citywide book fair that travels throughout the region, ladies and gentlemen. It just happens to be in beautiful Gary, Indiana this year, over on at the Gary Area Career Center, the Industrial Center, 1800 East 35th Avenue, in beautiful Gary, Indiana, September 20th. 12:30 to 5, and so make sure you get out there. We're going to get the logistics a little bit later, but you know you got me triggered. For people out there that are listening, because I think you really tapped on something. You know, you always hear about this, for instance, when people, let's say, want to open a restaurant, right? They say, you know, I've gone out here and I cook for my family, I cook for my friends, and I make good cupcakes, and they've told me, and I've had a couple people say, why don't you sell those? And so they go out here and do it. Writing is a lot more intimate. You know, a lot of times you write, people write, and they don't share it. Sometimes they don't even share it with their spouse. Mm-hmm. And so for people that hear your voice all the time, have heard your story, because I think you've personalized how you got on this journey. I think a lot of people identify with it. Not knocking my academic people, because I love my academics, the people that have planned to be writers and are operating in that space. You are probably resonating, though, with a group of people that are a little bit of broader base. Let's just put it that way. And when they hear that there was something inside you that got you to write the books you have, and now you're over here, what do you say to them? Like I said, unlike cooking and things like that, writing is intimate. And sometimes because you said something that I thought was very important, and I remember learning this a long time ago, when you try to write, is there's a tendency, and it really is an impediment because it stops you at times from writing, to write and edit at the same time. You start putting together every sentence, going over it, revealing, and then it becomes so tedious you just don't do it. Yeah. And you don't put it out there. So for people out there who have been doodling around, do have stuff, what would you say to them, and why should they come out to your event? Because I think you really just hit on something. I know I just felt it when you described that.
I would say complete it. When it comes to writing, you have to let it go.
Yeah.
Let it
go.
No
judgment.
Exactly. Stop trying to fix it as you go with it. Just get it out. I have people that say they journal all the time.
Yeah.
Oh, I journal. And then they say, well, I know it's a book in there. Okay, are you done journaling? If you're done journaling, go ahead and take that, and now you want to go ahead and just dissect that.
Yeah.
For those, I believe a lot of us, for me, myself, I was scared to start writing because I didn't know what was going to come out.
Right there.
And then when it did come out, oh my God, how is it going to sound? I'm not educated enough. I'm not, I can't put these words together. Who cares about this? This is ridiculous. So that's where concept comes in before you're writing. Yeah. So if you want to write a book, or there's a book inside of you, because for some, and we heard that it's a book in all of us. Yes, it is a book in all of us, but for some, it's itching at us that we need to get it out.
Yes.
We need to get this out. So I'm speaking to those people where for years that you're supposed to write this, and you do everything else, and it always come back. That's what I'm speaking to. It always come back. It always comes to the forefront of your mind, or you decide to do it, and then you are scared and you stop.
Yeah.
Write it down. Just write. Whatever is on your mind, just write. Get you a book. Say, this is going to be the journal, my book, my story, whatever it is. And every time you think about it, just write in that book. Also, do talk to text, because I'm one of those people. I'm moving and shaking all the time, and I have something. And so these phones are fabulous for that.
Yeah.
Go to your notepad and just go ahead and speak it into your notepad. Save it.
Yeah.
Editing is bringing all that back together.
Right.
Editing is don't mash up writing and editing. Don't be scared.
Yeah.
We put ourselves in a box because we beat ourselves up
Yes.
because we
Yeah.
compare ourselves to everybody else.
Yeah.
Do not compare yourself to this great novelist or this bestseller.
Right.
Don't put yourself in that box in your writing stage.
Yeah.
That's not the stage for that.
Yeah.
It's for you to write, and that's it.
Now, you know what? I mean, you're saying a lot. You really are. I want to ask you this because I'm still fixated on the process. I really think you're speaking to a lot more people this morning than you probably even realize. I really do, because you're speaking to a guy right across from you as well. But, you know, one of the things, and it kind of go back once again to that analogy about cooking, because I also think about when when people have asked me about, doing this show or doing stuff like this, is sometimes like one of the things in writing is sometimes it becomes very revealing to you. Even if you are just journaling or writing about yourself. And I heard you use that word when you're talking about scared and things like that. And I know what I know what governs your life. I know how you and your husband live your life. And unfortunately for everybody, that everybody doesn't have that spiritual center yet. And so sometimes when you sit here and you tap into those thoughts, those places, those feelings, whatever the story is, it's somewhat revealing and it's scared. It's scary.
Yeah.
And I think as you sit here and talk and you really kind of you take the edge off of it. You really do. That's why I think you're speaking to so many people. What do you say to that? Because as I said, I know you and your husband and how your family is, and you are unapologetic about your spiritual center. You are a follower, you're a believer, and
Yes.
and that is something that governs your life. And so sometimes for you, I would assume to kind of sit there and lay it bare, you feel as if this is part of my process. This is what I do. He knows everything about me. I open my life. But what about the people who aren't there yet and maybe see this as an opportunity and a vehicle to start on something? Because, I'm kind of looking at the big picture, and I think we have a lot of mental illness and a lot of things are going on. And unfortunately, we have few outlets that people use to not have to go to violence, to not have to hurt themselves, to not have to do things like even overeat, drink too much, or just things to hurt ourselves. Writing is a very cathartic process, but it's scary sometimes when you have to sit there alone, pen to paper, keyboard to finger or whatever, and go to those places that your mind can take you. And so speak to that. What would you say to people who are saying, I kind of want to go there, but I don't know where to start. I don't know what I should do. What would you say? Because there's a lot. As I said, I know how you live your life, but everybody sometimes doesn't have that center yet.
Yeah.
You know where I'm going with this?
Yeah. We talking about Jesus.
Yeah, but
you know what I'm saying. We talking about Jesus, not understanding. And let's say this first.
Yeah.
Because I believe once we encounter someone who is a disciple of Christ and how they live their life, sometimes we forget that they had to accept him at some time.
Yes.
So this has not always been. Right?
Yeah.
I didn't just wake up like that. I wasn't just born this way. A total process. It's so interesting that you say that. On my way here, I had a thought of some wicked stuff I did back in the days, right? And I was driving and I said, Lord, where did that come from? And I said, oh, you're reminding me of how you rescued me from that. And then I said, oh, that's not even you. That's the enemy. Because he doesn't remind you of those things.
Right.
So I said, look at you, enemy. I said, but you bring up something only for me to give God glory.
I like that.
So the fear we may have about what we've done, the fear of revealing it,
yes,
that is process to get it out of you. You have to get it out of you some type of way. And like you said, if you're going to use a vehicle of abusing your body, abusing yourself, medicating, you're trying to use that as a way to get it out of you, but it doesn't go anywhere.
Right.
It does not go anywhere. That is temporary. You're always going to have to go to those devices.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
when you receive Christ, that's a whole nother thing, right? He rescues you from that. But I'm going to say with writing,
yes,
allow that process as a healing mechanism.
It's cathartic.
So if you're writing about something that was so tragic, or you want to, for some reason you're always going back to this and you're thinking, I should tell this, or I should write this. How do I get rid of this? Right? Do it scared.
Yeah. I like that.
Do it scared.
Yeah.
We're waiting on this. We're waiting on like this superpower to come to us where I'm not afraid to do anything. No.
Yeah.
No, that does not happen. Doubt is real.
Yeah.
Fear is real. It does not matter if you know Christ or not. We still have to deal with that. Those are emotions that God has given to us to use.
Yeah.
Right? Sometimes they're abused.
Yeah.
But it's emotions to use. In fear, I may deliver somebody, may deliver myself in fear. But we take fear as being so scared, that's so wrong. Don't talk about it, don't be about it. No, that's a part of life.
Right.
Being, afraid of something we don't know.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So let's stop using those words as barriers covering us and putting us in a box to where now I'm so doubtful, I'm so fearful, I can't do anything, I can't move. Oh my God, what if they find out about this? Oh, good. I tell people all the time, when I go out and speak, the Lord had me reveal so many things about myself. You know me now. You
Yeah.
be like, girl, you was a what? You was standing on the corner doing who?
Yeah.
But that is a way for me
Yeah.
to let you know I'm delivered.
Yeah.
It's a testimony, and it's going to help you. Just like you're saying, we have no idea how many people we're helping with this conversation. If we don't have this conversation, how do we help people?
Well, we got a caller real quick. Caller, how you doing? Good morning. You're on.
I can't hear you, girl.
She can hear. She said you're talking to her.
Okay.
Here, you really, all the things you have said, people, no, not maybe, you got a story to tell, and then it keeps coming back to yourself years past, and it keeps coming up.
Yes.
Yes. Well, thank
Look,
you.
I have an ebook for you too, right?
Yeah.
Take her information.
That's
I'm
my
gonna send
girl.
I'm gonna send you an ebook, right? That's gonna break down the dimensions for you. But what I really want you to do is, I want you to take some time and sit with God and ask Him, how would He like you to release this?
Yeah. Well, very good.
I've been told so many times that I need to write a book. They said I need to, my story needs to be a movie or whatever. But it's really deep. It's really deep. And I thought many times, I'm not a writer, but that's always been back to my mind. But it's a story that needs to be told.
Well, thank you very much for calling. I'll get your information. We'll make sure that I get you that. This is one of my loyal listeners, and I told you though. I mean, for real, you. This is something that I think resonates in so many people, and this is why I've been also emphasizing this, because we have a lot. We've got a lot of listeners, and I want people to know that this is something that's been deliberate. You've gone around the region as this has grown, and it's been very intentional that you've come to Gary this year to kind of bring people into this. Now, I want to kind of move on because I want to get the logistics about what to expect at the fair and things like that. But I also want to speak to something because I don't want to give, because you know me, Doree, I will talk, and I don't want to give everything that you will get at the book fair and have you do it on the show, because I'll have you doing all the conversations.
That's good. That's good.
But,
look, it's over a month away. They'll forget, so they'll have to come.
All right, I'm just getting a green light. So what about those authors? Because here's something else that is pretty cool. My college roommate, shout out to my guy Tyreek. He might be watching. He does occasionally. From Richmond, Virginia. His mother was a very noted children's author. And I know that there is a need for that. And there are a lot of people out here who, want to write and really want to put messages out for kids.
Yes.
That's also something I think you're very sensitive to and appreciate. So what do you say to people who have something to do, but maybe they want to write to a specific audience? Did that kind of go into like your fourth tier, which you were talking about earlier? Or no, the first one, concept.
Yes.
Idea, visualize what it is you want to do, who you want to speak to.
Yes. I believe that's awesome because we have implemented the kitty corner. We implemented it last year. I'm so excited, and it's coming back because when I did this at first, the first book fair, it was more adult audience, adult and teen audience, right? And I mean, you can bring your kids, but it was nothing for them unless we had some children authors, which was nice, right? But you know how children are. They need something. They need some lights, some cameras, some action, something to mess with.
Their attention is fleeting.
And, exactly. And so when the Lord had told me to add the kitty corner last year, I was so excited about it because as soon as I saw this author and her setup, I knew that's what it was supposed to be about. And so she's coming back this year. And last year we had it set up where if you know, children authors were with the kitty corner, right? And so it was just a whole experience. It's an experience for them. So I encourage you. I do know a few children authors out there, and I encourage you, if you have something for the children, bring it.
Right.
I really think that we take this authorship, we make it bigger than it is.
Yes.
We make it really bigger than it is, and I believe sometimes because we're focused on I want to be a bestseller.
Yeah, the definition of success.
Exactly, the definition of success. But success is completing, for me, success is completing the mission.
That is it.
It's completing the vision. So if you have something in you for children, getting it out there, and I'm telling you, the experience of that first child grabbing that book and opening it up and their eyes just, in wonder, that's success there.
Yeah.
Yes, we do encourage authors to market their book because it is a business, right? It is a business. We just don't want it to sit on the shelf. But when you're writing with purpose, when you're writing with intent, when you're writing to change lives, to transform, to change the narrative, that opens your door for the monetary success.
You know what, Reed, and we're talking, for those of you just tuning in, we're talking Mr. Reed Henderson. She is a kind of I always say Renaissance man, but you're a Renaissance woman because you wear a lot of hats. And when you just spoke to that, that's something else. I'll give a shout out to my wonderful wife who also has, here's her book right here, COVID Chronicles. Okay, one of her books.
Is she coming? Is she going to be a bender?
I'm going to work out that for...
Girl, where you at?
I'm going to work out. But to one of the things that you kind of spoke about is about kind of like the idea of writing and what success looks like. And I tell my wife this all the time. And as somebody quite a lot of people don't really realize, like when I was a little boy and I was even thinking about going to college, that's what I wanted to do. Stephen King was my guy. I was going to write psychological thrillers. I wanted to be an author. And, a lot of things happened as far as writing, and I know how hard it is. That's why I'm sensitive about what you say. But to the point that you just got through making about success, I think not just with writing, but I think in a lot of things. We want this big swing. Mm-hmm. And I tell my wife this all the time when I tell her how proud I am of her, is that the first success is completing it. That's so hard for those of you, for those people out here to sit down, write a book. Your mind, as the author, you're always going to go over it every single time. And that's why you said something that they should teach on college campuses in literature, in creative writing. And that is don't edit while you write. Because when you do that, you'll never finish. Because you're constantly changing up stuff. You won't even finish a chapter because you've been changing the chapter. So, as I said, what you just got through breaking down is probably the most important part. Look at the success in stages. The first one is completing it. And when you complete, pat yourself on the back and feel good. Tell your friends, tell your family, say, guess what, Mom, Dad, I finished this book. Yeah. Then, after that goes down, take a breath, and then you can go out here and market it and things like that and have realistic expectations, build up. When you put, when you get out there and tell more people, go to book fairs, spread it around, you'll start to get the success. A lot of people think because we see the end product. We see what the publishing houses do, who spend all the money and go out here. But these authors have to go on book tours. They fly around, city to city to market that book, so the book company publishing house can get the money back that they spent with the advance.
Yes.
Most of us don't get those opportunities. All right. A lot of times it's grind. And so you go out here, finish the book, pat yourself on the back. That's a big achievement, even if it sits up on your mantle. But if you go out here, as you pointed out, and want to be entrepreneur about it, then you got to find book fairs. You got to find people like Mr. Reed, who are out here, people that are trying to help, that are networking, that have put these networks together. You got to take advantage of it, because just like with anything out of life, you get out of it what you put into it. You got to do some work. I think we want these big swings, and then we're done. That's not how it works.
And then you discourage yourself, when you tell somebody, I finished this book, I got this book, and your family's like, yeah, okay. So anyway, they somewhere else. You're like, but we have to understand, that's why the success is in completing the mission, the vision that God has for you. We have to understand that our circle may not be that circle that we see every day, that we're in every day.
Right.
That may not be the circle that's going to celebrate that the way you feel like it. So the thing about it is, be happy with yourself and what you have done and what you have completed.
Yeah.
Because if you're waiting for someone else to celebrate you, or I'll pay you $500 for that book. No.
No.
And so and then that's where we beat ourselves up.
Right.
We mad. We put all our time into it. You go into some type of depression. No. We don't have time for that. What we are in is in concept right now. God has given you an instruction.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you this, for those who are listening and you're wondering why you can't go to the next stage in your life or why this is failing. Did you complete the first instruction that was given to you?
Nice.
We have do the first thing, and then we want to jump into 25 other things because we see somebody else successes in that. Oh, and I can do that, I can do that. We are multifaceted.
Yes.
Okay? He created us with so many gifts and talents. So a lot of times we're shaken in our thought process because I have the gift to do this. I have the gift to sing. I have the gift to dance. I have the gift to write. I have the gift. I have the gift. I have the gift. I have the gift. God is telling, yes, you have the gift. I need you to cultivate this one.
Yeah.
Cultivate this one. And it would steer you to the other ones. Yeah,
they got to stay. They have a common phrase for that: master, jack of all trades, master of none. Yeah.
And so the thing about it is, in this writing stage, fear is one of the biggest things.
It is.
It is. The Lord. I have like about 3 more books that's just sitting on my lap in the computer, right?
Yeah.
And 2 of them is all about writing and completing the book.
Oh.
Because I have people that come to me, because I do this book fair and I have books,
right.
They think I know what I'm doing. So they had these questions, and I'm like, okay, yeah, and I go ask God about the questions.
Right.
But I said, Lord, what is the main reason? He said, ask yourself. And I said, yep, I was scared. I had fear. I had doubt. I didn't make time, right? We get so busy, especially for us, I'm included in this entrepreneur thing, y'all.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to work on that word.
Right.
But we're so busy doing so many things that, I don't have time to write.
Right.
But it's still kicking you in the back of your head, though. You have to have time. If it was not meant for you to do, it would not constantly come up. Just like the young lady who called and said every year, every time she turns, it's in the back of her head. It's kicking at her.
Yeah, that's why I keep going back. And, like I said, I just love to tell the audience, that, you kind of, I've gotten to know you all over years. And so I know exactly like what drives you and what kind of keeps you going. And I like to kind of open the audience up to the fact that, and you've been very transparent about it ever since I've known you, that the way you live your life is not unique to you. Other people can come and incorporate the things in your life. But one of the things that I think is very indicative of what you're talking about is it requires people to sit down and slow down and just deal with stuff. And we haven't had, you know, outside of the fact that, quote, there was this virus that messed up or made people sick, the real tragedy of COVID is that it forced people to stop, and they just couldn't handle it. They didn't know what to do with themselves. They had to look at themselves, and that's writing. Writing, when whether you're looking at a pad or you're staring at a computer screen, is going to require you to go to places that you didn't think about or you didn't know that you still remember these things. I'm talking about even if you're writing fiction and you're dealing with some characters that you're making up, you're going to go to some places and you're like, I know this character way too good. How, you know, what's going on in my head? This guy's a bad guy in here. This woman's a bad person. Why do I know what they're saying? Why do I know what their motivations are? And so it just requires a little bit of self-analysis and introspection that I think people have to prepare themselves for. And sometimes, as you point out, are scared. Mm-hmm. It's scary sometimes when you're sitting there. You're like, what to write about? And you know good and well what got you to sit at that table, but you want something else to come and tell you to do that. You know what got you to sit down at that table or in front of that computer. You know what you wanted to write about or where you wanted to go, but you don't like it. You're scared. You're wondering where it'll take you. And I think that is why people are resonating when they're hearing you talk about this.
Yeah, and it is a such thing as ghostwriters.
Well, those for people just get right, but don't get me started on that.
But also, I think another thing too is, I'm gonna tell you, deliverance only comes from revealing.
Yeah.
What
Listen,
inside.
I don't ask you to separate yourself.
It only comes from, because this is for those that you're talking about. I believe, right now the Lord is speaking to people who are dealing with mental issues,
yes,
physical issues,
yes,
pain, sickness.
Which is pretty much everybody.
When we hold on to that,
yeah,
with past trauma, memories that are just sitting inside of us, and building a cancer inside of us, God is speaking to you right now, telling you to release it. So all the things that you're scared of, if I bring this back up, if someone finds out, let me tell you, God may just want you to write this down as a release for healing.
Thank you.
It may not even be the time for you to publish, or you may never publish. How about that? Let's talk about that. Because I really believe we're thinking, okay, if I write this, I have to publish it.
Everybody in the world's going to see it.
Everybody has to see it. What if God is saying, this is your deliverance? You tried every pill, drug, drink, whatever you tried. But what I want you to do is be real with yourself. I want you to put pen to paper. I want you to release this trauma, release this hurt. I want you to bring it out.
Yeah.
How about that? How about being healed by just being obedient?
Yeah. I like this. I love this so much. I really do. This is why I'm so glad that you have continued to do this. I'm so happy that it's growing. I know it's going to grow, and that's why I kind of look at it. Even though, and not even though, I'm so glad that this stop is Gary, but I know how you started. This is a regional thing. I want it to be statewide. I want it to just be nationwide.
Yes.
Because not just for the conversations that we're having, because I know that there are a lot of frustrated authors out here. Mm-hmm. There are people out here who are not frustrated as authors. They just don't have community. They don't know other authors. They don't know where to go. They don't have anybody to talk shop with. And they're not any of the things that we talked about. They've gotten past that. They don't have any problem writing. They don't have any problem putting their story out. But they're just like, is there anybody else like me?
Exactly, and that's another thing. I want to speak to authors out there because I believe the author community, because that's what this is. The Citywide Book Fair is an author community. We have built a family. Yeah. You know, I don't want you to go anywhere once you join us, but life happens. But I truly believe I have authors. I have spoken to authors who have books, and they're like not interested in being a part of this fair. What did you write the book for? Right. I mean, what did you write the book for? Okay, if you tell me I wrote the book, God told me to write the book, and God told me just look at the book on the shelf every day. Okay. Cool.
Right.
Good with that. But if you have books out there and you don't want to invest in yourself, and that's another thing I think, we have a problem with as a culture.
Yeah.
We don't want to invest in ourselves.
Yeah.
When somebody tells you, okay, it's a fee for this event, you're mad. Why are you mad? Why are you upset? You are investing in yourself.
Right.
The thing about, let's just talk about it. When people are hosting events, please understand, we are paying somebody.
Yeah.
So this is a community. So if I'm hosting an event and I'm asking you to come on and be a part of this, we are a community paying this person or these people for us to be able to have this community and bring our gifts and talents to people.
Don't even get me started.
But let's get started because I truly believe that sometimes we believe that everything is supposed to be handed to us.
Yes.
And no, God put us here to work. Our gifts and talents that we have are to be put to work.
Yeah.
And the seed that we sow, the money that you're trying to hold on to, that's a seed that you're sowing, not only into your life, but into the life of others.
Right.
So when you decide that you're going to say, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and sow this seed, not only for myself, you don't know who God has set up for you to meet because you sowed that seed, right?
Let me stop you there because I want to reinforce what you're saying, and I'm gonna bring it make it about me. Surprise, but I'm glad this is something that's gonna. I promise I'll stay within the rails and I won't get triggered because it'll be, this show will go off the rails when I start talking about this because this is something that I do believe that is a problem or in a conversation we need to have in this community. I know we have a pretty diverse audience and I feel as if I'm having a family conversation out in public, but I don't mind. I think we all need to kind of hear this because what you're saying is exactly right. A lot of times, and we hear this narrative all the time, these things don't come to our community, we are being blocked. And when I say we, people know who the we is. A certain demographic or any demographic. We're always talking about we're on the outside. They don't have this. They don't come. There are people, and this has been one of the things that has been really a benefit of me being able to do this for a living for almost 20 years, is meeting people like yourself, having people like yourself and others on this show who I get ginned up about because you all do stuff. And so what you just said is the obvious, and that is this. Everybody out there who is that person that falls into the category that you and I have been talking about for about an hour, that person who wants to write, wants to get out there, wants to make it, they have the ability to go out here and rent an auditorium, go out here and market, get radio advertisements, and do it. They don't. And that's okay because that's not everybody's bag or wheelhouse. There are people out here, though, who want to do that. It's not necessarily because they're out here trying to necessarily promote themselves, but as we've been getting into for the past hour, that's what we've been doing. I've been getting into your motivations. I know you, and I've been talking about, you've shared your story about what's driving you. This isn't about Doree Henderson getting on the map and come look at me. You got your own thing going on. You could easily do that by yourself. But as we've been talking about, it's about a community. It's about actually an inspiration that you got by kind of doing your other little side hustle where you were marketing and you saw an author who was underrepresented, who hadn't been marketed. You said, you know what, there needs to be a space for this person. And instead of talking about what somebody else could do, I feel inspired. I've been told, I've been charged with doing it myself, and I'm going to bring others in to do this. Now, by you doing that, by you inviting other people, does not alleviate the cost of doing it. Because the one thing that we do say all the time in our communities is the other people don't come in and do these things. But if they do and they charge, we will break our backs to pay and be a part of it. And we will steal, scrape, and borrow to go in here. The one thing we've got to start having real honest conversations about, and like I said, it's a rabbit hole that I feel tempted to jump down, but I won't, because out of respect to you being on the show. But we have to start valuing ourselves. And it says a lot about us when people in our own community who are doing great things, who are doing events, and then when they come to us, we look at them side-eye. It's like, well, you charging for this, or why, trust me, it happens to me, it happens to us all the time. We see it. And that's something that we have to understand, because as you and I have been talking about for the past hour, there are a lot of talented people here. There are a lot of people who have dreams of being an author. People writing for whatever reason. This is something for them. It's not limited to, but it's something for them. It's accessible. It's in your community.
Yes.
And the heavy lifting is pretty much done.
Yeah.
There might be a nominal fee to be a participant in it, or to highlight your wares in a place that I'm actually bringing the people to. I've already got the place, the building. I got the date. I secured that. Just give me a couple of bucks to pay for the food that's going to be here and offset some of the cost that came out of my pocket. But you're not going to get any less of a shine. That little space that I'm giving you in the industrial room, you're going to be there all day. Do you. Have the free run of the place. But that's one of the things we do. Like, well, I got to pay. What you get? That kind of thing.
Yeah, and
see, you got me triggered.
No, and that's okay, and that's good, because you know what? Sometimes we need to have these conversations. How does anything get fixed if we do not have a conversation? I truly believe that we get bothered in conversations because we go in aggressively, because we've been holding something in for 15 years, and now you're so aggressive, and now you get an outlet.
Right.
No, calm yourself down.
Yes.
Calm yourself down, take a breath, and just ask questions. Have a conversation. And I'm going to tell you, in a conversation, you don't always get the answer that you want.
Right.
You don't always get the answer that you want. But
And
maybe
you always have a choice.
But maybe you will get a better understanding.
Yeah, I'm with you.
A better understanding. So the conversation is, okay, why do I have to pay a fee? Because I had to pay a fee. That's the conversation.
Yeah.
I have,
See, this is
I
why
have
you're
to,
a nice person. The audience knows that I'm kind of playing the proverbial bad guy.
But
I
that's
don't think
okay.
I have to explain that to somebody.
No, but the thing about it is, I'm an open book.
Yeah.
Pun. But this is the thing. I have nothing to hide.
Right.
I have nothing to hide. So if you have that question, here's the answer.
Right.
I truly believe we think sometimes that I don't have to answer your question. Just do it. No, if you have a question, I can answer it for you because I have nothing to hide. Now, if you don't like my answer, that's on you. Because that's a lot of times people don't like the answer.
Right.
And so then they want to go back and forth. I'm not going back and forth on a question I already answered. That's how disagreements and arguments happen.
No, you're right.
If I answered the question, you happen not to like it, you deal with that.
I call that choices. You always have a choice.
And so it's not about having this book fair to get rich. It's not. It's about bringing community together.
Yes.
And every place I go, I have to pay. I have to pay for certain things. I have to pay for security.
Right.
Sometimes I have sponsorships for food and things, but sometimes I don't. That has to be paid for. So that's what your dollars are going to.
You don't have to explain that to every single person.
You don't have to explain to every single person.
I'm telling you, I don't want you to, because you know what? You have the right. No, I'm serious, because you have the right to retain your own privacy as a business person. Because I'll give you a great example. Yesterday I walked into the grocery store and I forgot what I bought. I bought something, and you know what I didn't do? I didn't pull the clerk over and say, by the way, what'd you pay for this retail? Why am I paying this price? How much did you really pay for it, and where'd you get it? I didn't. I assumed that the place that had the product I wanted was giving it to me at the price that I was willing to pay. That was a transaction.
Bottom line.
Now, I'm not trying to tell you to be cold and hard and disrespectful like I am on this show, but I am saying that part of my conversation, what I was having earlier, is I think it's somewhat disrespectful, because that is asking you to do something that is disrespectful. They shouldn't have to. Now, if we get together and later on you want to find out how to throw your own book fair, then I feel that it's okay if I decide to share that information. But if I ask you if you want to be a vendor, and you're like, well, what did you pay for security? And why you got? And I need to know exactly what you get. You know, listen, yes or no.
I haven't had that, y'all.
No, I know. This is me. See what happens when you get on this show?
No, but that's okay, and I believe that is okay. But let's talk about this real quick.
Yeah.
Let's talk about this, because I think this is important.
Yeah.
What you said something, I guess I led you to say it. Like you said, we'll break our back and go pay somebody else.
Yes.
When do we realize that we're just as important as every other community?
I agree.
Around.
That's the point.
When do we realize that we have value, just like Lake County, Valparaiso,
Right.
Portage, East Chicago? We have that same value, if not more.
Right, and that's something
But
we
the thing
talk
about it is, we look at within ourselves. Let's stop saying we're looking at the city of Gary or where we're at. No, you're looking at yourself.
Yeah, because you live here.
You're devaluing yourself.
Right.
You're saying you're not worth it, so this area isn't worth it. But I can take my devalued self and go stick myself in another community, and then now I'm worth it.
Yeah.
That's where we have something wrong here. Mentally, we're messed up there.
Yeah.
And if you want this place to be better, if you want to see you as a high commodity, you have to represent and set yourself up for that.
That's a great segue, because I think you're the experiment to prove that statement, because, you know, I know when you all, I don't know if it was year 3 or what have you, when you all did your stint over at the beautiful, newly minted Dean and Barbara White Center, and arguably this run is more of an evolution. I mean, you've got more experience, you've got more exposure, you've done this, and so the one that is coming September 20th to the Gary Area Career Center is an evolution of that. No disrespect, because that one was great and it was successful. But you're right, and there's a perception that we have to deal with, because we will look at that, and instead of saying, wow, this is their 5th year, they're getting better every year, we'll be like, oh, they might be here now. Is it the same way that we were perceived? And I would easily suggest that not only is it going to be the same, there's a very good chance, because they're always evolving, that it's better than what it was over there, because there's another year under the belt. They were already good when they were doing it at the Dean and Barbara White Center, and so now you got, you're in your 5th year, you got your feet under you. It's just by habit. I mean, it's evolution. You're going to be better.
Yeah, and then we're always looking for bigger facilities as well.
What this is.
And so we started in Griffith. We went to Highland, Maryville.
The Regions Book Fair.
Yeah, we did Gary last year.
You're going to have to take that C and turn it into an R.
And then now Gary again. I truly believe this year 5 here at the Gary Area Career Center.
Yes.
This is going to be momentum. This is really going to be big.
I think so.
Just the fact of implementing the 5 dimensions of creativity, I believe is such a blessing. Every year, God has gives me exactly what to speak into the lives of the authors and the participants.
Yeah.
But this year, dissecting the full aspect of getting that book out there, and then the kitty corner and
I think that's going to be popular too. The kitty corner.
It's going to be so amazing. And for this to be free to the public, I think
that's another thing. I forgot that part. This is free. Oh my God! Come on. This is all right. Once again, I said I'm going to keep it together on the show. Go ahead, please.
That's okay. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah. You're okay. And that's another thing. I think it's free, and let me tell you about free. Let's talk about complimentary, because the Lord was working with me on that word free too. Yeah. Complimentary. I think we put that in the box of might not be worth too much because it's free.
Yeah.
It's funny how if something is free, you won't show up, but if you pay for it, you're more likely to show up.
Yeah, right. We're conditioned to think that.
You're conditioned to think that, right? And so I just want to encourage people, when the community is doing something, when we say free or complimentary, it does not mean that.
But see, I want to throw this in there because, no, you're right, and we have been conditioned, and you're on a show that absolutely embraces capitalism. And so free is not a word that we always kind of like to... I think, once again, this goes back to the beginning of our conversation, and that is that, i.e., reading, is that you have to go out here and you can't go out here and make these generalizations, because not just you, there are a variety of organizations, real great organizations that go out of their way and absorb costs, especially around this time of the year, back to school, Christmas, to make it free. That's the whole thing, because they want to alleviate the burden on families. They want the bigger picture is to get people there. That's why they remove the cost and eat the cost of charging. Because, the average thing, and we're capitalists, we grew up in America, the obvious thing is I invest in myself and now I'm going to get it back through you. I'm going to charge you a fee. But a lot of these people who are like yourself and other organizations, you all are deliberate. You're trying to absorb the cost. That's why it is so important for the vendors to appreciate that, and for the public to understand that even though it's free, I need you to come out here to show the vendors that their money was well spent. Support the people that are supporting us. Yes. It's a cyclical effect.
Very well said. Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
No, it's the truth, because I want people to appreciate. I mean, free is not just somebody throwing something willy-nilly.
Yes.
You got to be more deliberate to be free than sometimes you do if you're charging.
Exactly. You better say it. Yes, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. So we're talking. I'm telling you, we could talk for hours. But let's get into the logistics, because of course, once again, this is coming up September 20th, Citywide Book Fair, 1800 East 35th Avenue, beautiful Gary Area Career Center in beautiful Gary, Indiana. We've kind of gotten into the ideas and all this other stuff. Let's talk about what to expect at the book fair. What do you got there?
Oh my goodness. Just expect to have the best time ever, okay?
Yeah, yes.
It's going to be good. Expect many authors coming in, and marketing and book selling, and a space for your children. Books everywhere, okay? So books galore, right? We're gonna have lights, refreshments for everyone. I want to make sure I shout out my people.
Go ahead.
So I want to shout out my people. So my sponsors, again, we're going to have Sweet Potato Pie and Catering. That's Mary. If you have had her sweet potato pie, honey, and her sweet treats, and her strawberry water, y'all, this water, okay, so blessed. But anyway, she's going to be there as well. So she's going to provide us with light refreshments. Elegance Event Design is going to have the table, beautiful, coming in. I love music, so you're going to come in, it's going to be music, it's going to be lit, okay? We're going to have, like I said, we're going to have the guest speakers. They're going to be speaking on the concept, writing, editing, publishing, and marketing your book. Right. So you want to be there for that session as well, right? I'm thinking about bringing in some people to do some little special. I'm not going to tell y'all what it is, but we're going to bring in that. Also, I believe one of my authors is going to do some of her poetry. We're going to have some poetry reading there as well. We're going to have our presenting sponsor, Travail, with us. She's going to speak to the community as well. Exactly, right? So I'm going to shout out my sponsors. My presenting sponsor, Travail, with us, Elegance Event and Design, Rental, Sweet Potato Pie and Catering. We're going to have 2 photo booths. We're going to have a 360 photo booth with Sharbuka 360, and then Phenomenal photo booth. We'll also have other sponsors, Rest Services, Mixed Up Music Entertainment. I also want to shout out authors that have committed right now. We have Dr. Andrea Russell, DeAndrea Graves, Karen Anderson, Suzanne Cole, Suzanne Cole is the one that handles the kitty corner. So fabulous, right? Lisa Tyree, Robert Watts Jr., Marquila Hinton, Tracy Quinn, Pastor Keisha Jones, Kimberly McMillan. And special thanks to the Gary Area Career Center, okay? Brian Henderson, my boo thing. Jeffrey Smith, Big Papa. People that are working behind the scenes, that is Marquila Hinton, Tyler Miller. It's just a community of people that's that is presenting this. So when you come in, you're gonna see me. I'm gonna be lit. We're gonna have music. I'm probably gonna dance you around.
Right.
We're gonna go. You're gonna see the authors. You're gonna have food over to your left, kitty corner over to your right. You're gonna have people that's just excited to be there, speaking into your life, helping you. You're gonna have publishers there, editors there, hopefully, and they're gonna be speaking to you about writing your book. You're gonna be able to purchase books. You're gonna be able to take pictures with authors. It's just going to be an amazing time.
And a great time to network as well. Yeah. I mean, just a lot.
Networking.
Yeah.
Exactly. Network. And the thing about this community, we have to understand, like you said this earlier, you write a book, you put it on the shelf, and you know, you're scared to invest in yourself.
Yeah.
You know, there's no community for you.
Yeah.
The Citywide Book Fair is a community of literary minds.
Right.
So if that's the place you're looking for, that's the place you need to be.
Yes.
This is annual. God has said, no, we're going to do this every year until he's done, I guess, right? But this is a place for
all
that.
ages, all backgrounds,
all ages,
no judgment.
no judgment, no anything. God is just, he's strategic.
Yes.
And I want to also shout out the libraries that are doing this as well,
Nice.
right? East Chicago, so this Saturday, the main branch of East Chicago, they're doing their 10th annual authors luncheon. And I'll be participating in that with some of the authors that I named here. And we get a chance to set up a table, have our books. They're going to provide lunch, and this is complimentary to the community, right? And also they're going to give the authors a chance to speak to the community, give them a couple of minutes to just tell them what inspired them to write, right? So this is something else. So this is not just here, but you have other organizations as well. So with this being annually, and it's normally in September, check out your resources.
Yes.
Check out your resources, your local libraries. Check them out. You're able to build your author community throughout the entire year.
Yeah. You know what? This has been absolutely awesome. It's been, I mean, we've been going a minute now. Before you go, I will give a shout out. What's my dude doing? My right hand man.
Don't talk about my boo thing.
What is it? Messed up?
It's Mixed Up Music Entertainment. He's the one who did that fabulous voiceover that you hear, okay?
Yeah.
Both voiceovers. We just did another photo shoot for an author. So if you need headshots, okay, you can contact us. Mixed Up Music
He's a great photographer, ladies and gentlemen. I know I always talk about him as this mysterious entity who is my right-hand man over the years, and he really is. He is really not only essential and been a big part and a big help since I've been here at the station, but he's also become a very close friend of mine and a big help as being my friend. But he's very talented, and he has done some work for me as far as his photo skills and things like that with our TEDx and stuff. And he's very talented. And so
Bryant Henderson.
Brian Henderson. Remember that name? I know he's got his little stage name that I've found out about. I know you know more about it than I do, because I call him Bryant. But I wanted to give it because he's also a very good person, and I know you know, because you all are a very cool couple. You really are. You support each other. Another thing, and this is a whole nother conversation. Trust me, your husband has been talking about you two doing something to kind of address that, because another thing that we don't talk a lot about in any community in this country, but especially in our communities, is that every home isn't broken, every relationship isn't broken. It is work, but it's okay for two people to share their lives and support each other. You're going to have your ups and downs, but it's all right to trust somebody and that person trusts you. And actually, that's one of the most fulfilling aspects of life. And I think you two are a great example of that. I'm going to tell you, I'm a fan. And so I want to give him a shout out, because that's my dude.
Okay, you got shout out. My boo thing, Henderson.
Exactly.
That's what I call him.
And I didn't even bring him in on your time.
He must be busy, because y'all know he would have came in here.
You never know. He might be outside the door. I know how he rolls.
So look, I also want to say we are bringing back the Citywide Book Fair magazine as well.
Talk about that.
So that is an amazing magazine. It it has businesses, the community, and authors in there, right?
Yes.
And so we're just bringing that back. You know, sometimes you do what's called like a ad book.
Yeah.
But no, we're doing a magazine, something that you would keep.
Articles in it.
Articles in there, yeah. Speaking about the community, which is great. So I just want to say this. I just want to say the vision. Our vision is to create a warm, engaging, and immersive, environment that truly brings the joy of books to life. So we are taking sponsorships, donations, and they help contribute to, like we said, and I'm going to say it, like the light snacks, food, the beverages, supplies, support for the volunteers, because I have to have volunteers for this. I can't do this on my own, right?
Right.
And also event logistics, like we talked about, right? And so as a supporter, you help us with that. So I do have information on citywidebookfair.com. I do have the sponsorship letter. I have the history of the Citywide Book Fair on there. I have some of our sponsors, our donors on there as well. I let you know everything you need to know about the Citywide Book Fair. But if you still have questions, you can reach out to me. You can call me directly at 219-226-3928. We do have ads for our magazines, right? So we have a half-page ad that's $75, and we have a full-page ad that is $150. So if you would love to have your business or your information in the magazine, please contact us. You can go on the website again, citywidebookfair.com.
Well said. Well said. Very much. Thank you very much for taking time out of your busy day.
Yes.
To come and talk about this. We'll definitely be hyping it up, and who knows? I mean, 9 times out of 10, you know how this works. You'll probably be on here the day before or something.
Yeah, I will be back in September.
We'll see you back on that. We'll want to wish you well in all of your endeavors. Once again, thank you. I know the audience appreciates when you do drop by.
Thank you.
We appreciate you.
Y'all, thank you so much for having me, and I just want to speak a blessing over you, okay? Trust God in everything you do, okay? Just give it to Him. Have a blessed, beautiful, wonderful day, okay? In Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you. Amen. Thank you very much. And now, we're going to take our break. When we come back, how about we get into weather and traffic, also get you some news, and then we'll take some phone calls as we take it to